All right, so have you heard about this
I have?
this computer?
Yeah.
Powered by real human brain cells.
Oh yeah, this is wild stuff.
It sounds like science fiction, right?
It really does.
But we've been going through all this material. It's like this is actually real. This is not a movie.
Well,
And this Australian company, Cortical Labs, they just launched this thing called the CL1.
I've been following them for a while.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is it combines like living human brain cells with like silicon hardware
Right.
to make a new kind of AI.
It's really a fundamental shift, I think.
Yeah.
Moving beyond just the silicon-based AI that we're used to
Right.
into this whole other realm of what they're calling synthetic biological intelligence.
Right.
So the CL1, it's not just another, complex algorithm or something like that. It's
Yeah.
like it's actually using the learning capabilities of neurons, like
Real biological.
real biological material.
Yeah, and then the advantages are like almost unbelievable. It's like more flexible, learns way faster, uses a lot less energy, and it's potentially way more efficient
Much more efficient, yeah.
than the AI that we have now.
Right.
And this synthetic biological intelligence, or SBI as they're calling it.
Catchy.
Yeah, they just introduced it officially in Barcelona on March 2nd, 2025.
Very recent.
Yeah. Just the other day, and scientists are really excited about it because they think this could be like a huge breakthrough,
I think so too.
especially for like medical research. Like
Yeah.
think about it, a whole new way to like approach, health challenges and stuff.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
I think what's really interesting from a bigger picture perspective is that,
Yeah.
traditional AI, it could be so powerful, but it takes so much computing power,
Yeah.
so much energy.
So much energy.
But to think about how efficient our own biological systems are
Yeah.
for computation, it's a really compelling idea.
Yeah.
And the fact that these brain cells, they can evolve and learn, constantly.
Right.
It's a game changer.
Yeah. It's not just static. It's like
It's alive.
it's alive and it's constantly learning.
Yeah.
And the way they do it is like they take regular blood or skin cells
Right.
and they do this crazy science and they turn them into stem cells.
Okay.
And then the stem cells can become any kind of cell in the body.
Right. Right.
And they basically make them into brain cells or neurons.
Outside.
And then those are like the building blocks of the computer.
Wow.
Yeah. Pretty wild.
That's amazing.
But this isn't their first time doing this. They did this thing back in 2022
Oh, yeah.
that got a lot of attention.
The dish brain, right?
The dish brain, yeah.
Yeah.
So they basically grew like 800,000 human and mouse neurons on a chip.
And they taught it to play Pong.
They taught us to play
Yeah.
Pong. That's crazy.
You remember Elsie Blaine,
Oh, yeah.
the science writer?
Yeah.
She was all over that.
Yeah, she was all over that.
Talking about how, this neural network could teach itself, it could adapt to new situations, even make new connections based on like what was happening in the game.
That's wild.
Really put Cortical Labs on the map.
Yeah, and back in 2023, Brett Kagan, who's the chief scientific officer at Cortical Labs, he was saying,
Okay.
this technology is like a whole new form of life.
Interesting.
It's not an animal. It's not a human. It's something totally different.
Right.
And he was saying it's like a mechanical and engineering approach to intelligence, but built with like real neurons.
Which is just mind-blowing when you think about it.
It's like a totally different way of thinking about intelligence and maybe even life itself.
Totally.
And now fast forward to today,
Yeah.
the CL1 is not just some research project. It's like,
It's a product
it's a product
that you can buy.
that you can buy.
Researchers can get their hands on it
That's huge.
and start using it. So let's break it down.
Okay.
What is the CL1 Biocomputer?
Yeah.
What is it all about? So from what I've been reading, the CL1, it's not just like a little chip that you stick in your computer.
Okay.
It's like a whole system.
Okay.
And the human brain cells, they live in this unit that takes care of them and keeps them alive.
Oh, so it's like a
Like a life support
the
system.
life support system for these brain cells.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dr. Han Wang Chong, who's the founder and CEO of Cortical Labs,
Yeah.
he's been saying that this is like the biggest moment for the company in like their whole 6-year journey.
Yeah.
And he's even comparing it to that famous Pong experiment
Right.
that they published in Neuron,
Yeah.
And it's cool to see how they've come from that research to this like actual product.
Yeah.
But he's also made it clear that they've always wanted to make this technology more accessible to more people.
So you don't need like $1 million in a special lab to...
Exactly. You don't need the fancy hardware, the fancy software.
Yeah.
The CL1 is how they're doing that.
Right.
They're making it so anyone can use it.
And they came up with this very interesting term,
What's that?
wetware as a service.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, so basically, customers can either buy the CL1, like the actual unit,
Okay.
or they can rent access to it
Or remotely
through the cloud.
Interesting.
It's like software as a service,
Yeah.
but for brain power.
But with real biological components.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
So it makes it a lot easier for people to, like, use it.
Right. Like it lowers the barrier to entry.
Yeah.
Dr. Chom thinks this could empower millions of researchers and inventors and just, people with big ideas
Yeah.
who might not have the resources to build this kind of system themselves.
Yeah, it's like democratizing this really advanced technology.
Yeah, and Cortical Labs, they're not just providing the hardware,
Right.
they're providing the tools and the support
Yeah.
to help people make new discoveries.
So it's like a whole platform.
Exactly.
And when you think about the potential applications, it's like mind-blowing. Like,
Okay.
it changed so many things.
So many things.
Like, for example, substance discovery,
Yeah,
like finding new drugs,
right.
could be way faster, way more efficient.
Imagine being able to test, like, new drugs
Yeah.
on actual living neural networks
Yeah.
that are like, human brain tissue.
Like a mini brain.
Yeah.
And then you can see exactly what it does.
You could see how the cells react.
Yeah.
See if it's effective
Yeah.
without having to, use animal testing.
Yeah. And it could be a lot more accurate, too,
Right.
because it's like
It's the real thing,
the real thing.
not a simulation.
And it could change clinical trials.
I bet it is.
Like the way we test new treatments.
Yeah.
And even like robotics.
Oh, yeah.
Like we could have robots that are like way more adaptable and customizable.
Robots with real intelligence?
Yeah.
They can learn and grow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And they're aiming to have this widely available in the second half of 2025.
Yeah, which makes me think they're pretty confident
Yeah.
in their tech.
Yeah, they must be pretty far along if they're going to
Yeah.
make it available to everybody.
Yeah.
And some researchers got to visit Cortical Labs in Melbourne,
Oh, wow.
and they were saying it's not just about playing Pong.
No.
It's way more than that.
Much more.
It's like a whole new way of computing.
It is a new paradigm
Yeah.
for computation.
So what's so special about this CL1, like, technologically?
Technologically.
What makes it tick?
Okay, so even the name CL1
Yeah.
shows that it's a step up from the dish brain.
Yeah.
The hardware is simpler, it's more stable,
Okay.
but the really cool stuff is in the wetware,
The wetware.
the brain cells.
Yeah.
They figured out how to grow a neural network that's more like a real brain.
Like a mini brain or
Yeah.
so.
They call it a minimal viable brain.
Minimal viable brain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Amazing.
And how do they, like, connect to these brain cells?
Well, they use these things called planar electrode arrays.
Okay.
So these are like little flat structures made of metal and glass. Yeah.
Okay.
And they have like 59 electrodes on them.
Okay.
And these electrodes, they're like the communication points
Okay.
between the computer system and the neurons.
Okay.
They use this advanced CCOS technology to exchange information.
So they can, like, stimulate the cells and also read what the cells are doing.
Exactly. They can stimulate them and they can record the activity.
Okay.
And the coolest thing that they found in those dish brain experiments
Yeah.
is that the neurons, they kind of like predictability.
Predictability.
Yeah. When they make connections that lead to like stable outcomes,
Okay.
they strengthen those connections.
So they learn.
They learn, yeah.
Okay.
But when their activity is like random and chaotic,
Yeah.
they avoid that.
They don't like that.
They don't like that.
They want order.
They want order.
So they're constantly, like, self-optimizing
Exactly.
based on what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, it's like a built-in learning mechanism
That's why.
driven by this need for stability and efficiency.
And they upgraded from that old CMOS chip
Oh, yeah.
that they were using before.
Which had some problems.
Yeah, it was, like, opaque, so you couldn't see the cells.
Right.
And it could build up electrical charge.
Yeah, which wasn't good for the cells.
So they came up with a new system
They did.
that's way more precise.
Right.
And it keeps the cells healthier.
Yeah, it's a much better environment
So they can live longer.
for the neurons to thrive.
Yeah.
And all of this is housed in this life
Yeah.
support unit,
This body in a box.
the body in a box.
Yeah, it's got, like, filtration, liquid storage pumps, gas mixing, temperature control.
It's like a high-tech aquarium.
Yeah, it's like a little world for the neurons.
A little world. Yeah.
And they're building this crazy thing in Melbourne.
What's that?
It's a biological neural network server stack.
Okay, so like a server farm.
Yeah, but with brains.
With brains.
Yeah,
Wow.
30 CL1 units all connected together.
And that's just the beginning.
It's just the beginning.
They want to scale it up.
Yeah, and they think it'll be online in a few months. Yeah, this is happening, like, right now.
This is the future happening now.
So what's next for them?
Well, they want to have 4 of these stacks.
4?
Yeah.
Wow.
By the end of the year.
Okay.
And they're going to be accessible through the cloud.
So even more people can use them.
Exactly.
What?
Anyone with an internet connection can tap into this brain power.
And the price is coming down.
Yeah, it's still pretty expensive.
$35,000 per unit?
Right.
But that's way cheaper than some of the other options.
Some of the other systems are like $85,000.
Yeah.
But Cortical Labs, they're working on making it even cheaper.
So it'll be more affordable.
Yeah, for more researchers and companies.
And it's super energy efficient.
Yeah, a full rack of these CL1s only uses like 850 to 1,000 watts.
That's like nothing.
It's way less than a traditional computer cluster
Yeah, it's crazy.
for the same amount of processing power.
And it's programmable.
You can program the brain.
Yeah, you can talk to the neurons.
That's wild.
And they can talk back.
It's two-way communication,
Yeah, so they can learn and adapt in real time.
real-time learning.
And you don't even need a separate computer to use it.
It's a self-contained system.
Yeah, it's amazing.
The possibilities are endless.
So what are they going to use this for? Like, what are the immediate applications?
Well, drug discovery is a big one.
Yeah.
Being able to actually see how neurons grow and connect under a microscope
Yeah.
in response to different drugs or treatments,
Yeah.
that's going to be huge for research.
And it's accessible to anyone through the cloud.
Right. So even if you can't afford to buy a CL1,
Yeah.
you can still use it.
That's really cool.
It's democratizing science.
And they're using these special stem cells.
Induced pluripotent stem cells.
Yeah, from blood samples.
Yeah. So they take a blood sample
Yeah.
and they turn those cells back into stem cells,
Wow.
which can become any type of cell.
Yeah.
And then they turn them into neurons
So it's like personalized brain cells
in a way.
from your own blood.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
It really is.
And they use 2 methods to make the neurons.
Right.
One is with molecules.
Yeah, they expose the stem cells to these molecules that mimic brain development.
Okay.
And that way is faster
Yeah.
for making lots of cells.
But is it as good?
Well, the other way is to modify the genes,
Okay.
and that's more precise.
Okay.
You can get more specific types of neurons.
What is it, slower?
It is slower.
Yeah. So they're like trading off speed and precision?
Yeah, it depends on what you need for your research.
Right.
But the ultimate goal is to build that minimal viable brain,
Yeah.
a functional brain
Yeah.
that can do real thinking.
And that's still a challenge.
It is a huge challenge.
Yeah.
But the CL1 is a big step in the right direction.
Yeah.
It's a tool that can help us understand the brain better.
And maybe even build a better brain.
Exactly.
And it could help us develop new treatments for brain disorders.
Absolutely.
And maybe even reduce the need for animal testing.
Yeah, that's a big ethical consideration.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a really powerful technology
It is.
with a lot of potential.
And a lot of responsibility. We
Yeah.
have to be careful with this.
So to recap,
That's
we've
right.
been talking about the CL1,
The world's first commercially available biocomputer.
powered by living human brain cells.
It's amazing.
It's totally different from traditional AI.
Yeah, it learns faster. It's more flexible. It uses less energy.
And it could change everything.
From medicine to robotics.
And everything in between
And the best part is it's accessible to everyone.
through the cloud.
Yeah, anyone can use it.
So for you listening,
Yeah.
think about this.
Yeah.
This CL1, it can learn and adapt like a real brain.
Right.
So what does that mean for us?
What are the implications?
Yeah, what are the ethical implications?
The philosophical implications.
Yeah, as this technology gets more powerful.
As it becomes more widespread.
Yeah, and more integrated into our lives.
It's a big question
Yeah, it's a big question.
that we need to be thinking about.
Yeah, because we're really at the beginning
The dawn of a new era.
of something completely new.
Biological computing.
Yeah.
It's exciting and a little bit scary.
Yeah, definitely a lot to think about.
A lot to think about.
But that's why we do this show.
To explore these big ideas.
Yeah, and to get you thinking.
To get the conversation started.
Yeah, so thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you next time
Till next time.
on The Deep Dive.
On the deep dive.
Into the future.
Into the future.